the keynote here, firstly. Firstly, I'd like to invite our keynote speaker. So this welcome note will be on emerging warehousing trends, solutions, and ecosystem to maximize efficiency. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on stage Mr. Anshul Singhal, Managing Director and CEO, Welspun One Logistics Park. So everybody, let's welcome him with a big round of applause.
Completely missed the announcement and I was running in, so I'm just going to take a sip of water. Presentation coming up or? The screen. Good morning, everyone. I'm Anshul Singhal. I'm the Managing Director and CEO of Welspun One Logistics Parks. It's a company that we formed about 3.5 years ago, 4 years almost now, and we've managed to be the only Indian business which has raised the entire fund for warehousing in India from Indian HNIs. So there's about $6 billion of foreign capital that's flown into Indian warehousing space in the last few years. And when I was starting this company, I thought to myself, why is it that there is no opportunity for Indian investors to profit from this space? Why is it that foreign LPs would be investing in this space only? So we set up our Fund 1, we raised 500 crores, set up a 1,500 crore AUM, which is now completed. And recently we launched Fund 2, which launched in April this year and raised 1,500 crores of equity in 4 months, which is the fastest equity raise because of our performance of Fund 1. And we are today standing roughly at 1,700. We'll end up at 2,000 very quickly, which was our target. So in by 2026-27, we will have an AUM of roughly $1 billion US, all with Indian HNI capital. So, I have to say that some of you should look at investing in my fund before it closes. But besides that, coming to the topic of the day, if you look at the screen, just go back, please. If you look at the screen, it says, hashtag everyone needs a warehouse. It's a pretty interesting line. And, we kind of started trending this on Twitter and social media about 2 years ago. And we realized quickly that people didn't understand it. So then we started explaining it, and now, of course, it's catching on. But just look around this room. Just the television screen, the stage, the tables, the chairs, the clothes we're wearing, the pointer in my hand, this iPad, the entire mechanical equipment that's here. Everything in this room that you're sitting in, everything in this hotel, at some point has passed through a warehouse. It's one of those silent backed infrastructure / real estate sectors which is growing so quickly, but you don't realize it. So if you believe in the India story, if you believe that India is growing at X% and all the GST collections and the SIPs in the stock market, etc., then you have to believe in warehousing growth. So e-commerce cannot exist physically. They cannot operate without warehousing. There's no e-commerce without warehousing. It's the backbone of them, right? So that's why hashtag everyone needs a warehouse. Next slide, please. Of course, when I started warehousing 10 years ago, there was a company called Embassy Industrial Parks, and then, of course, Welspun One. We used to be selling grade A warehouses. We like grade A warehousing is future. The grade B is the old, shoddy, dark warehouses with very, very unsafe working environments. As supply chain experts, I don't need to explain that to you. But I think if we don't take India a step up, no one else will. And which is why it's not grade A warehouses anymore. It's grade A warehousing ecosystem that we need to think of within the area of life we can control, which is our park, right? And I'll come to that, what I mean in the next few slides. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, everybody says focus on customer needs, right? And it's a very fancy, nice line to say. But what does it mean? I think the chairs are blocking my slide, but effectively what it means is, you optimize the park to suit the customer and not the other way around. As developers, we are wired to look at FSI, to look at, efficiency of the parkland, We are wired to look at how we will make profit from leasing. And the only conversation we talk about is rent, 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 right? Now, how can we further optimize? Some of the things this slide says, which you probably can't see, is, optimized pallet solutions, optimized conveyor belts, pallet storage solutions, spacing solutions. I was just sitting with a company outside, and that's why I was late on. I was very excited looking at the new pallet solutions that they've launched. And I was thinking, why don't we offer this as all these things? And why we'll invest in it? Why would, as a customer, you should be investing in these kind of solutions? So we'll put in the money, we'll put in the capital, we'll buy the pallets, we'll buy the racking, right? And we'll do all your space planning and space zoning within it. We may even be happy to partner with a technology solutions provider, manage that whole space for you. You focus on your business. Full stop. You don't have to worry about, leave the infra to us. We'll take care of it. And if it also helps you probably turn your business profitable faster, because all the capital headaches go away. We do that, right? In return, maybe we'll, help, want a better lease in terms of pricing or timing, but I mean, that's it. So that's something we can look at together as the ecosystem. I mean, you look at these type of, fancy warehousing mechanisms. So this is actually, two to three stores within an existing warehouse. These are effectively mezzanines, but they're actually, they can take about 1.5 ton of load, and you have goods from the staging area moving up through conveyors into the storage and racking space. And I don't see a big problem in actually robotizing the whole thing on level 2 and taking, making very narrow aisles and going directly into the rack. So, and then of course, if you look at this particular piece here, is where the outbound happens. So this floor on the bottom is probably for packaging, sorting, processing, labeling, marking, picking, unpicking, and then you can get the goods back out. So the point I'm trying to make, is not the specifics, but the point I'm trying to make is we're happy to invest in this kind of an ecosystem for customers. Yeah. Next slide, please. I think I covered this, but you often as a customer need the flexibility. So you may say that, okay, Anshul, today you have a park in Chennai, you have a park in Delhi, you have a park in Bombay. My business in Delhi is picking up really well, but I have a warehouse in Chennai which is not doing so well with you, right? So can you shift my Chennai warehouse to Delhi? Can you say, okay, can I shut down my Chennai operations with you? I know I have locked in with you, right? But can you flip it? Because I'll just take warehouse space from you in Delhi. Yeah, we'll do it. No problem. No other warehousing player will, but we'll do it, right? So those kind of things, right? So if you, this is just one example. So if you share your problems with us at a business level, we'll be happy to support with solutions at a business level. Market conditions change, with these kind of issues. So we're trying to, but for us, we're sitting on a safe asset, right? A land, a building. I mean, how dangerous can it get? For you, actually, the risk is much higher than it is for us from an operating perspective. So how do we kind of balance that out? How can we help you do that better? Please come up with ideas, and we'll be happy to do that. Again, the slides that are hidden by the chairs is partnership approach and flexible talent lease terms, which we discussed. Next slide, please. Locations, and now my favorite topic as a real estate guy is location, location, location. But when we choose a location, we don't look at 1 year, 3 year, 5 years. We look at 20 years, right? Because India land is, and everywhere else, but specifically India, land is a very rare and very difficult commodity to come by. We obviously buy very, very clean land. So we do I have a joke that we do an MRI of a land before we buy it, and then we know more about the land when we buy it than the landowner does, and that's the part of the business I enjoy the most. But when we look at a location, we look at it from many, many angles. We look at it from last mile access. We look at it from traffic jams in the area. We actually look at, if you go to the space for maintenance within the parks. We then look at, so it's a very detailed exercise looking at locations. Now, we've done all that for you. We've done all that hard work for you in terms of location. We even work very closely with companies like CRE Matrix to do location studies. we actually spend, before buying any land, on just research on that land, from just research, not diligence, just research, about 50 to 75 lakhs per land, right, on market research on that land. And then we spend another 2.5 crores on due diligence, which includes title checks and all the other good stuff, right? So 2 to 3 crores before buying the land is something that we invest. And there are many times, I kid you not, that we dropped the deal after spending 2 crores because it's not viable. I rather spend 2 crores and drop the deal than spend 200 crores and buy an asset which is useless to the customer or to my investors. So that's interesting what we do with locations. But in the next slide, what I want to show you is some heat maps, right? So this is the green in Bhiwandi. Can somebody move a couple of those chairs, please? You know, in the green is the Bhiwandi. This is Bhiwandi in 2003. That's an actual heat map. Thank you, Jeff. There's an actual heat map, and in the red is Bhiwandi into 2022, right? Now, imagine if you had a location here which was badly planned for last mile access, etc., etc. That's enough. Thank you. Yeah, there was just maybe one more here, Jeff. Yeah, you know, if you had bought land thinking this is how Bhiwandi is going to be, you signed a 10-year lease for that land, for that warehouse. Sorry, you signed a 10-year lease. You invested a bulk load of capital. That's good enough, Jeff. Thank you. You signed up a bulk load of capital. You put automation inside the warehouse. Now what happens is that area becomes really dense, and this is happening to a lot of our customers. And now they're saying, "Hey, listen, we want to get out of here because this is like crap, because we can't get in. There's a line outside. There's no traffic jam." So we look at that before buying the land, right? We look at it from a 20-year perspective. We look at traffic in, traffic out. We appoint a company called MeBack, which is a traffic consultant, very, very good guys. I really like them. And we do a scatter analysis. We look at timing, peak load out. And that, by the way, we'll reject a land for that. Huh? So we'll reject a site which doesn't suit that, because we want to be building a business for 10 years from now. We want to be building a brand which is respected years from now. So if a customer is in my park 10 years later and he comes and tells me, "We love being in your park," that's important to us. So that's how we look at our locations. Next slide, please. Of course, safety is a value system. It's not a strap line for us. So we have crossed many million safe hours. The number keeps changing on a daily basis, so it's hard to remember, but I know it's upwards of 10 million safe hours as a company. The hardest safety, the most unsafe part for us as a company is during construction. Of course, we've had, touch wood, 0 fatalities or big near misses till date. And of course, everything from all the happy stuff that you see on this emergency response protocol, et cetera, is all there in all our parks. So safety is very important to us. Next slide, please. So if you see, that's a fire tunnel that we made we set up India's largest sort center in Bhiwandi. It's a 8 lakh square feet box for delivery that we built in 10 months with 4 side docking. It's got docks on all 4, 200 docks roughly, give or take. And it's got a 350 meter long fire tunnel under the warehouse, so that in case of, and the funny part is that when we took this to Maharashtra government for an approval, they didn't understand it, because they're like, "Nobody's done this before." And I'm like, "Exactly, but you should make it a norm." And now it's a norm, right? So now you can't, human life is very important. So, of course, and if you look at this warehouse, now this is a different point from safety, which is actually in my next slide, but I'll just talk about anyway. There's not a single electric light on here, right? Please go to the next slide. Next slide. You see this warehouse too. This is my Parekh Logistics warehouse in Chennai, which we just, I was there last week. Very, very amazing building. No light from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You don't need to turn on a light for operations. Almost in summers, you can go to 6:30, right? And then you need to turning on. And then also you can stage-wise turn it on, right? So unless your warehouse has very heavy night operations, your electricity consumption from an ambient lighting perspective is super low. And then, of course, we have solar roofs. So in case you want to operate MHE and, your racking systems, if you have a conveyor inside the warehouse, Hopefully, the solar should be able to take a significant percentage of that load during daytime. We still don't have a storage solution for nighttime, but trust me, as soon as it's there, our parks are provisioned for that. So low environmental lighting impact. Our Bhiwandi Park is platinum rated, and we're going to go for platinum rating probably in all our parks. We're just evaluating, if it's viable for a smaller size park as well. But gold is the bare minimum. I mean, we're not going to go below gold for anything. Next, please. Yes, and this is another feature that part of the ecosystem that we're building in. We want things like a creche, worker accommodation, maybe a bit of a co-living space for the young guys, young bachelors there, MHE stations, ATMs, convenience stores inside the park, right? So what this does is it starts to make the park less clinical and less transactional, right? You're now coming into a park as a guy who's earning 40,000 a month or 30,000 a month. You're not struggling for basics there. If you want to spend a night there, you can, So those are the kind of, things that we're looking at. Very excited about doing it for value adding in our parks. And of course, we're ready to customize any of these, even within a camp, what we call is a campus within a campus, right? So say a 100-acre land is something we have. You want to create your world within that, own a 5-acre parcel of land, we'll boundary it separately and create your world within that, right? You want to add your, exclusive creche. You want to add your exclusive store. We'll build all of that. We'll invest in all of that capital for you very happily. So that's something we do. Next, please. And my favorite topic, and my presentation is going to end after this, is last mile logistics. So it's funny that I've been speaking about last mile logistics for last 10 years, and I stopped believing myself that this will ever work in India. And then we went and bought finally a 3.5-acre land parcel for 120 crores in Wagle Estate in the heart of Thane about a month back. We said, let's do it. And we got the land approved through our IC. And we were in Singapore last week as a team to see, which is the G+. And we saw 10 warehouses which go up to 10 stories high, right? That's the ramp. And I kid you not, there are about 50 of those. And we don't have a single one in India. India, like 1.4 billion, all that good stuff, right? And Singapore, right? I mean, there's no comparison. So this warehouse, for example, is an 8-level block, right? This is at the port. So the 8-level is a general, normal FMCG, type of warehouse for multi-story. But when you're on, and I've been on level 3 and level 4, you can't tell the difference. You don't know if you're on ground or first, right? When I talk to customers, there's a mental block saying, hey, listen, give me ground. I'm not going to go all the way up. But we are going ahead and building ramps in our warehousing now. We're going to be building G+4 at least in Thane. We are also thinking of going basement 1 for cold storage, right? Because of the ambient. This side of the same development is a container storage, multi-level storage yard, right? So each floor is, I think, 15 meters? 15 meters each floor. This is 15 meters, 15 meters. And you can literally bring containers in, empty containers in, and store them there. And this has also got ramps, by the way. So you can take the whole thing out. It's crazy. I mean, if you look at this, this is the future of warehousing in the country. So we're starting this as our first project in Wagle. We're actually... we've launched it. It's in the news recently. So if you Google us, Welspun 1 Wagle, Welspun 1 in-city, Welspun 1 last mile, it'll be there. And we are now also looking at buying more sites. We're starting with Bombay first, because I think that's a city where multi-story, because land prices are high, so it'll work better. And then hopefully we'll start shifting it to Delhi, etc. Yeah, that's our development in Bhiwandi, fully delivered. That's the 8 lakh square feet building I was telling you guys about. It's 4-side docking. If you see, the dockings are all 4 sides. That's delivery. This is Tata Chroma, 6 lakhs odd square feet. Tata's largest fulfillment center in the country. Also fully delivered, fully operational. One behind that is Ecom Express, which is owned by Warburg Pincus partially. And this is Asian Paints. That is Emiza, who's actually here today. So that's our North Park, and there's an entire South Park, which the photograph is not here. It's 120 acres, which has 900,000 square feet of FM logistics. FM was our anchor in this park, and I think they're here today. So thank you very much for the support. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Kindly stay back as we have a token of thanks to present to you. Thank you for being here. Can we have it on stage, please?